become false. The truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence. Islamic leaders silence. Kings and queens silence. Traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are the workers of confuse the call. Now by area, why no better? We are the workers of confuse the call. One guy's area, why no better? Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, he need it now, see what's I see so. Now your friend on a nine come at them. Only papi obeka nice and yeah. So I won't over to it too. Everybody was afraid. And when Tinanan to my cottage again nine. Once my boy dumping one and I cheat. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien peso beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Akuku drofo nyina dalima. And who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow your mansa to me be a cacobrafo. If I need a yet, if when you know yet. Now so could down so be the back or why no keke. I feel for the man more piafo, no cross on my move. Hanya safwe muayini. Akuku drop on your darling. And who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyandebi. Kachisa would your mouth pipinuma. Would your mind never shine my frafonsa? But who go tell the truth? TUC silence. Even journalists silence. So then who go say the truth? Right is right, wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you, now the person become your target. Jobless, no they mean senseless. Poverty, no they mean useless. One day, then go resist.
Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to my view show here live on Today Ghana News show. We are live as usual on Sakina Information Center in Tatali. Also live on FM 93.7 in Achuhima in the Eastern region, and also live on the King's Radio in Accra, and on all social media networks. We are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, on YouTube, and all your favorite social media handles as Today Ghana News TV. And as usual, this and every evening, we bring you the best socio-political discussion show that is every Monday, and this evening is one of those. But before we go into any details, for our regular viewers who usually join us on this show, you would have noticed that over the past month or so, we have not been able to come through to you regularly as we usually do due to various different reasons. And for these, we would like to extend our sincere apology to you. But most of these have been addressed, and we are back live on air to share with you your favorite discussions, be them social, political, and economic affairs as they relate to the development of humanity and development of society. Well, as you may know, and as I've been saying, this program basically is geared towards human development, and mostly our discussions are centered around politics and social and social developmental issues. But for these to occur, for development to occur, and for human progress to occur, what is very important, or what lies at the root of all development and progress in society, is peace. There need to be an atmosphere of peace and understanding. And it's only with this base root that we are able to build on progress in society. Fortunately or unfortunately, humans as we are, and in every human endeavor, it is only natural that occasionally we step on each other's toes, and occasionally we deprive ourselves of this much needed ingredient for development and progress, which is we deny ourselves of peace and inhibit ourselves of the progress that we need. Well, there's actually a saying that if one spends his or her life avoiding conflict, it means the person is not living, because the person would have chosen the easy way out and chosen to go down the path of least resistance, and thereby deny him or herself progress or the chance to live life to its fullest and attain the development that come along with them. So conflict by itself is not the problem. What is the problem is how we resolve these conflicts as they occur on the daily basis. Do we go about escalating these conflicts? Do we go about resolving them in a manner that they do not keep reoccurring and keep disturbing our path to progress? This is not, and conflict is not peculiar to only one place. Conflict is wide all over the world. Globally, in recent times we have heard about conflict in Europe, basically in Russia and Ukraine. We have heard about conflict in other parts of Africa, in Sudan, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and we are actually hearing of conflict also in the Middle East, in Israel and in Palestine and what have you. And back home in Ghana, there are various spots that in our own diction or coining, we choose to refer to them as hotspots. And these are areas where there are simmering tensions that escalate every now and again, which disturb the peace of those areas. Fortunately or unfortunately, one of such areas that have come up in recent times has to do with the area, one of the areas in OT region, the Nkwanta area, where there seem to be conflict between two groups of people. So this evening, our duty and our mission is to try to get to the bottom of this matter and to see what are the undertones of this conflict. How is this conflict going about disturbing the peace of the area? What are the effects of this conflict on the economic activities of the area? What are the effects of this conflict on the cultural activities of the area. What are the effects of this conflict on the social circumstances of the area? Are there prospects for peace in this area? How can we go about resolving our difficulties and bringing people to live together in unison, even where there are difficulties, to be able to glide over our differences and find the things that unite us rather than the things that divide us? Because it is only in finding the things that unite us that we can build bridges and we can have atmosphere of peace, which can be, as I say, the baseline for our progress and development. For this reason, and many others, we have tried to bring a guest who knows a thing or two about the state of conflict in the area that we are talking about, and who is knowledgeable in the matters that we are discussing, and who would help us digest these matters and get to the root of them and help us gain a better understanding and try to find them so that we can try to find a way forward and try, as I say, to build bridges and to mend fences in this area. And our guest we are expecting for today is in the person of Barrister Kweku Anebu. I hope I got the name right. Barrister Anebu, well, as the name suggests, he is a legal practitioner. And as I say, he is well-versed and well-knowledgeable in the situation in the Nkwanta area. And he knows a thing or two. And he would be trying to help us get to the bottom of it. And while we wait for our guest for today to join us, we would like to once again extend our welcome and our warm appreciation to our listeners in Sakina Information Center in Tetali in Northern Ghana, in High FM 93.7 in Achunhima in the Eastern region, in the King's Radio in Accra, and also for all of you who are joining us live on all your favorite social media networks. As we can see, some of our guests have already joined us on Facebook. Some have joined us on YouTube as well. And well, like I said, we are here to save you nothing but the best and to try to get you to understand the issues as they occur, and to get you to get a better understanding of what these issues are, so that we can together find peaceful and a possible a remedy to the situation in Nkwanta, so that we can help bring life to normalcy and to get our brothers and sisters back to their everyday life. So, Lawyer Smith, welcome to today's show. You are live on Today Ghana News TV, and the show is MyView show. Welcome to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, please, can you speak up a little? We are having difficulty hearing you. Can you speak up a little?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We have tried to introduce a topic for today, and try to also introduce you, but you know yourself better. So probably it's only fair that we give you a chance to introduce yourself. Tell our viewers and our listeners who you are.
I say a big good evening to all your viewers. I cherish you and I cherish them all. My name is Philip Koku Anebo. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'm a native of Nkwanta, where the conflict is currently happening. And by accident or design, I happen to hail from both sides I mean, both the divides of both divides, both one part of it has to do with my mother's people, and the other side, my father's people. So I am a native of Nkwanta, and my tribe inherits patrilineally. So my tribe is Adele. Adele. It's called Adele. And my mother's people are called the Achobis. Between the Adeles and the Chalas on one side and the Achobis on the other side. So I think by way of introduction, this is who I am, briefly.
Well, interesting, and this quite normal of conflict situations, especially when they have to do with conflict that have to do with tribes. Normally, you come across people who find themselves spread across both divides or all segments of the divide as the conflict arises. But more importantly, for us to be able to probably carry our listeners and our viewers along during this discussion, it would be important for us to be able to understand or to know the area that we are talking about. Who are the people that reside in this area? What do they do? What do they do in that area? What is the composition of the area of these people? And, then we can get into the matters that are arising from the conflict. We seem to be having a bit of technical challenges with the connection to our guest, but we are going to keep working on it. And when we get him, we would try to get him to get us to understand where the area is, who the people are, what they do, and what seem to be on the surface. Tell us what seem to be the matter as far as this conflict is concerned. But as I was saying, when the guest introduced himself, he said that he happens to come from both divides. And like I said, this is quite normal of conflict situations. Human beings, as we are not homogeneous by nature. We are heterogeneous human beings in most situations. And in society, in most societies, we tend to intermarry, and hence our relationships tend to spill over to all other divides, not only marriages, but friendships and what have you are built across different divides of society. So it is rather unfortunate when conflict arises and it has to do with people of one divide against the other. And normally what happens is that we have a particular group of people who are caught in the middle because, like our guest tried to explain, normally these people are people who are from both sides. And sometimes, even when the conflict extends to 3 or 4 different divides, some people can be on all of these divides. And so this is why in the introduction, I said that as human institutions, we should always try to look for things that unite us rather than things that divide us. Because as for divisions, they will always exist. But if we look hard enough, we would also always find that there are more things that unite us than the things that divide us. So, welcome back, Lawyer Forbes.
Thank you.
Yes. So, as you may be aware, this program we have a wide viewership. Some of our viewers are not even Ghanaian, and they are not even African. So, for us to be able to carry all our viewers and listeners along, it would be important for the people for people to understand which area we are talking about. So when we talk about the Nkwanta area, where is this place located?
This area is located in the Oti region, former Volta region. And you would find it between the KJB district and the Kwasa district. It's part of the middle belt in Ghana and closer to the Togo border. That is the eastern part of the country. So when you leave Accra and you take the Eastern Corridor Road from Tema to Atimpoku, right down to Hohoi, you proceed to KJB.
Hello, Mr. Philip, can you hear us? I think we are still struggling with the connection with our guest. But before we lost him, he was trying to give us another understanding of the area, the Nkwanta area and the area under discussion. And he was trying to tell us, he told us that this area is more or less in the middle belt, but rather probably to the eastern part of Ghana, close to the border with Togo. And he tried to give a description of the area as you move from Accra to the Nkwanta area. And from the picture he painted, the Nkwanta area seemed to be lying to, for those who have older memories of the regional divide of Ghana before its current demarcations, it would lie to the area that is in the northern part of the former Volta region, which was carved out of which the Oti region was carved out. So this area is an area mostly that is made up of a lot of settler populations, people of various tribal, divides settling in this particular area. And probably this is one of the reasons why we have this conflict. And when we get our guest back, he would try to make us understand exactly the causes of the conflict, whether the location of the area is part of the problem, whether the population, the constitution of the population in that area is part of the conflict, and then try to take us through the issues as they are. But mostly when there's conflict, conflict arises mostly in most parts of the world, arises as a result of resources and resource allocations, where some people probably are aggrieved because there's a feeling that some people are taking away things that belong to them, or that they are not getting enough of what they perceive to be theirs, and hence there's conflict. But as the name itself implies, when we talk about conflict, it would usually imply that there is more than one side of the story. Because if there's only one story or only one version of the truth, then it does not become conflict. Then everything is at peace and we are fine. But where we have different versions of the truth, the conflict arises. Very soon, we are going to have our guest back, and he will try to get us to understand the issues as they are. Yes, so we have some of our viewers and our listeners who are joining us. Nyame Kwame Boy, you are saying good evening, and you are watching us from Nkwanta in Oti region. You say I am the popular tea seller at the Nkwanta lorry station. We need peace, peace, peace. Indeed, the end of your message is what is really important. We need peace, no matter what the situation is. Peace is the ultimate. And as you say, you sell tea, and without peace, you'll be out of business, because nobody can come around to patronize your goods, and so you will be out of business. Jaframa TV, you say good evening and greetings from Rara in Oti region. What they are doing at Nkwanta is a very big disgrace. Well, we understand the frustrations that are involved, but where situations escalate to conflict, you can imagine that emotions are usually boiling out of control, and these are usually the outcomes. So as much as we do not like the situation, we would like to urge people to keep their emotions in check and try to find lasting solutions to the situation, rather than to resort to violence and conflict. Patience Dako. Patience, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Always a pleasure having you. Patience Daku says she's watching us from Hamburg in Germany. And it's Diaspora Union. You say that we need peace and development, not war. Let them come together and fight for development. Watching from Amsterdam, Holland. Indeed, we need peace and development. And what is needed is for them to come together for development. The enemy out there is bigger than is bigger than ourselves. The enemy out there is hunger, is poverty, is distress, is not being able to take care of our needs and our wants. These are the things that we should spend our energies fighting, and not ourselves. We can fight ourselves all we can, but after we finish fighting ourselves, we will still have to come back and deal with these matters that are inhibiting our path to progress. And so we need let's continue to find ways, to bring peace. Asempa Hineboachi, you say you are watching and listening from Achunhima in the Eastern region. Thank you very much, Asempa Hineboachi, for doing the watching and the listening. Joe Kelly Jr., you say good evening. You are watching from Accra, Ghana. Thanks for the good work towards the resolution of the conflict. Thank you very much. As a media house, we do our bit to see how we can contribute to bringing peace to the area. Kweku Adi, you say good evening, Albert and your team, watching live from Amsterdam, Holland. We need peace in Nkwanta. We need peace, and we cannot say this enough. Frempong Bafi, Frempong, you say good evening, watching you live from Akusi near Somenya. Thank you very much for doing the watching and for doing the listening. Benjamin Kuma, you say God bless you, bro. God bless you too, Benjamin. But most of all, let's direct all our prayers and all our effort to the people in the Nkwanta area, so that God will touch their hearts and smoothing their hearts, so that whatever anger that is brewing in the hearts of people, they would find a peace in their heart that they need to first of all forgive each other, and then second of all to smoke the peace pipe, and then ultimately bring about the much needed development.
Today's Ghana News TV is 2 years old, and we continue to give you the very best. Within our 2-year period, we have introduced our newspaper, the Evening Tribune. Tribune, when it comes, tribulation, you should expect it. It comes with all the hardcore news items, and we report it as it is, as you see it, and as you hear it. So do make a date with us. It comes out every Wednesday, so Thursday morning is right up there. Get a copy of it and get more informed. do get in touch with us, and we have any article, we will do the publication for you.
Yo, Yamamu Ajo Esan Emamu Apaba Edubano Kerme Di Edi Antonia Kipa Ifa Ania de no Kernum Atubibia Ewose Edda.
Tune in on Today's Ghana News TV on our usual socio-political show, MyView.
Jumedi and Today Ghana News TV so na Today Ghana News TV we benya live on YouTube.
Nyame ase and then so I ready person me no share Today Ghana News TV kasafidie so.
Today Ghana News TV, we are the masters of the game.
We stay for a long time. When we marry together, tell along, what to be the matter? We still get a view. I share a mooya. And you sound it, yes, on the beat. Let's try together and louder. Let's my people together, we come as one. We cry for peace, not a friend of our land. Let's cry for peace, let's cry together and louder. Let's my people together, we come as one. Let's try to yes, Masala Fatagalu, ya go cry. Navaika Saka Mabu Compa. Put a father, mama, now what I'm good. And you don't name my China be there now, so Mashaki Lora China be a man can evoke a bigger coach and the man you're dancing and you can sell away. The police said that quite in Chega, when I want a man, Tinya Diaga, in modern and for Siguabia, in modern and for Siguabia, Chakulu Barrios of Vegisimo, you get off Yan and Nacho, I dream of yellow number. I told a pure Ajibel, Jalapio Ajibel, they did have a Ajibel, Nkwanta Ajibel, Mama's cook while I pass, Maya to my fire passa, Mammy Fanny Kalana, Kia fire passa, yes, to long way to Chema, and Yana Kamazo Chicha, let yourself from my Chichema. Sometimes I know put to ever, not a friend of the fire. I told that tell a chala. Let's cry together and louder. Let's my people together, we come as one.
We're done away to pass. Then you need the cool this and in the cool city chiri bachasi Mumaya Priasun green, that in Chirimaya media dog on the park. No got a bad union in yellow, you mean that the Jasana Manja, one Rachala, Chuda Deleke, the dog has none but Chasia Barrel, Chad, Luca Bruce, Jasile, Ben Jodigana, Uniala, and Utan Daily K. Yes, that's big.
When we marry together, we are one people, different dollars now. What's the matter? We still get a view. I share a mooya. And you sound it. Nkwanta da bena put whatever. Not a bena to quite better. I told that tell a chala. Peace, shalom. Let's cry together and louder. Let's my people together, we come as one. Let's cry for peace.
Yo, Yamamu Ajo Esan Emamu Akaba Edba no Kerme Din at the Antonia Chipa Ifa Ania de no Kernum Atubibia Ewose Edda.
Tune in on today's Ghana News TV on our usual socio-political show, MyView.
Jumedi and Today Ghana News TV so na Today Ghana News TV ubenya live on YouTube.
Yɛda Nyame ase. Ɛnɛ nso ayɛ Awurade pɛ sɛ me ne wahyia ɛwɔ Today Ghana News TV kasafidie yi so.
Today Ghana News TV, we are the masters of the game.
Well, welcome back. As you just heard, the song you heard was a song that is a song that have been released, appealing for peace in the area, and that is the song that we just heard. Unfortunately, we seem to be having technical challenges reaching out to our guest for today, which is normal. Such glitches are bound to happen once in a while, particularly with regard to the focus of what we do, which is to try to get to the bottom of issues, no matter where they are. Sometimes this sends us to people who are located in areas that do not have the best of network connections, and this usually results in things like this. But we would do well to try to get somebody who can be on the show on another day, so that we can be able to bring this finally to this discussion, considering the importance of the subject matter. Because, like we said, this matter lies at the very heart of the progress and development of the area. If we are unable to bring peace to the area, all other things are going to grind to the halt. And to the best of my knowledge, the OT region is one of the areas that need development the most. And as such, the sooner that we are able to restore peace to the area, the better it would be, not only for the inhabitants, but for all of us. Let's all bear in mind that issues of land are not issues of land and resources, natural resources, are not ours. Basically, we are only custodians that are put in charge of the resources that have been given to us by God. So basically, our duty is to take care of these resources and to protect them and use them to the best of the intentions for which they were provided. And so if we start fighting over these things, we are not only are we destroying ourselves, but we are also destroying the intention for which these were provided. So as much as possible, we would like to urge people to calm down as much as possible and to try and let peace reign in the area. As we run up, we take a few messages from some of our viewers, and then we run up. Martin Monfanche, I think that's the name. Good evening, the good people of Nkwanta and its environs. I call for calm, peace, and patience. Good evening to you, Martin, and thank you very much for your appeal. Frima Oye, you say you are watching from Mache, near Ho. I'm also from Nkwanta. They should stop the fighting. Yes, indeed, they should stop the fighting. Nanata Fremu, peace, peace, peace. Watching from totally northern Ghana. Thank you very much, Nanata Fremu, and thank you to all the viewers and listeners from Sakina Information Center in Tatali. Edward Owusu, you say, I feel for all who are offsprings of the intermarriages of 2 or 3 tribes. Where should they go? To the father side or the mother side? They are so vulnerable that they are not safe whichever way they go. Exactly the point I was making earlier, Edward Osu, that when these things happen, it is the people who are caught in between who are usually in limbo. Robert Kimpe, welcome to the show. We should put a stop to the war. Watching from Paris, France. Thank you to the Ghana News TV for promoting peace. Thank you very much, Robert Kimpe, for doing the watching as always. Nyame Yao Boy, you see, that is the peace and unity song by the youth of Nkwanta. Yes, that is the peace and unity song by the youth of Nkwanta that you just heard. And we are thankful for the youth for playing for recording this song. Tomefa Kwame Barnabas rather. You see, I am Tomefa Kwame Barnabas, the Uti region mafia. It's a matter of dialogue and one party accepting the truth. Such will bring peace. Well, in a matter of dialogue, there are usually compromises. And it's the compromise, it's within the compromise that we have peace. It is in the peace that we have development. Apparatus Adai, I think. Apparatus Adai, you say you're watching live from Nkwanta. We need peace in Nkwanta. Thank you very much, all the people of Nkwanta who are watching and for constantly calling for peace. Alfred Kofi, you say you are watching live from Accra. Thank you very much, Alfred Kofi, for doing the watching. And thank you to all our viewers and listeners in Sakina Information Center in Tetali, also to those who join us on High FM 93.7 FM in Achimai in the Eastern region, and also to those who join us on the King's Radio in Accra, and also those of you who are joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and I hear on LinkedIn as well, and for everybody who is joining us on all your favorite social media networks. Lawyer Fope, welcome back.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I have some interferences, and I'm so sorry.
Well, these things happen.
Sure.
It's understandable, and because of the kind of work that we do, we come
Sure.
across these challenges every now and again.
All right.
So before we lost you, you told that you tried to give us an understanding of where Nkwanta is. What can you make us understand which people are in this area? Which people are located in the area?
The traditional or indigenous settlers are the Adeles, the Achodes, the Chalas, and the Intrubus. However, these misunderstanding or conflict or dispute is between the Adeles and Chalas on the one hand, and then the Achodes on the other hand. The Intrubus are actually not a part of this dispute as it exists currently.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's much more complex than meets the eye. It's not just a conflict between two people, but actually three people.
No.
I think.
Yes, there is an alignment of interest between the Adeles and the Chalas, so they are aligned.
Well, that's understandable. In every conflict, alliances are usually formed, and but what are the main economic activity that take place in this area? What are the people involved?
Predominantly, they are farmers. They cultivate yam, cassava, maize, millets, and then other cereals. And then there are also cocoa. We have a forest around, so there are cocoa farmers, and then other cash crops. So, but basically, the majority or substantial percentage of them are engaged in yam and cassava cultivation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go into some of the issues proper, you said you belong to both sides.
Yes, both sides.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
But beyond that, do you also have interest in this conflict, personally or privately?
Yes, the personal or private interest that I have in this conflict is that I want to see an end to it as early or as soon as possible. That's the only interest I have. To get an amicable resolution to it as early as possible. That's the only interest I have in this conflict.
All right. So do you happen to know about the how do you call it, the historical connection of the the Adelays to the Nkwanta area? Do you have any historical background?
Yes. The Adelays spans across Ghana into the Togo border, and they have existed or they have lived there for so many years ago. You take maps that spans 300 years ago when German was still in occupation of our area, when Ghana was just not, sorry, when our part of the country was not yet under British rule. They were there. All the colonial German maps, you see the Adelays, their communities, their settlements, and everything there. So yes, they are, and they historically they are believed to have migrated from I mean the empires in the, what do you call it, more aligned to the Mali Empire, and that's where they're coming from, the Kwa branch of a particular ethnic group. So they migrated from there and then went straight into the southern part of Ghana around Osu, and then passed through, returned from Osu to the middle belt of Ghana and settled there for several years ago. You take all the ancient maps and you are able to see that they feature in it.
Is it safe to say that the Achode also have a similar background as the Adale?
The Achodes, as I understand, are Guans. And our studies makes us understand that the Guans are among some of the people that are reputed to be the original settlers in Ghana. But then similarly, when I look at the maps, I mean, those old ancient maps, I see features of the Achodes' presence in these areas as well. But my research has not been able to unearth between the Achodes and the Adeles as to who were the first to come. But I see that so many years ago, they have been they've been living around.
But you talk about your research.
Sure.
Have your research been able to unearth maybe some kind of historical events or agreements that have shaped the relationship between the Adales and the Achodes in terms of land ownership and things like that in the area?
Oh, well, the only agreement or union that has existed between them is that they, living as two groups living closest to each other, they have been intermarriages and they have coexisted peacefully for so many years. But as far as going into a pact or any form of written or oral agreement as to boundaries, it was not the case until disputes about their boundaries began to surface some 40, 50 years ago, when the then colonial administration assisted them, set up some committees and commissions that looked into the matter. Some of them were in the personal capacity of the the chief executives, as they were then called, in that order. So this dispute has a history, and so yes, as far as my memory serves me as can go, there has been some precedents, or yes, to this.
Okay, so now I would normally, when issues of land come up, these are usually tied to some kind of cultural significance to people. How does the land in the Nkwanta area hold cultural significance to, the people involved? These two tribes we are talking about, basically the Adale and the Achode.
As I've earlier on stated or pointed out, these are people that are primarily engaged in agriculture. And so their livelihood is directly derived from the farming activity that they engage in. And beyond that, their customs are also tied, and traditions are tied to some goddess or spirits that are believed to be connected with the land that they lived on. So they do not only see land as a mere economic asset, but they have spiritual connotations to it, and they see land as a part of their identity. So the land is a part of who they are. So indeed, culturally, there are very real connections between them, between the people and the lands that they occupy. There are rivers and valleys, and then caves and other special features that they identify with, and to them they give spiritual, religious explanations and connotations to them. And so, like I said, it's their land is part of their identity. Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, like you said from the onset, that the people basically are farmers, and I would want to assume that this applies to both tribes.
Exactly, you're correct.
Okay, so looking at it from that perspective, are there any recent uses to land that besides farming that are emerging in the area?
Yes, and that is what has exacerbated this boundary dispute that has existed for long ago. And the issue has to do with the urbanization of the Nkwanta Township, which happens to be the municipal capital of the Nkwanta South Assembly. So the town is rapidly expanding, and the cost of land is increasing. Together with economic activities expanding, settlers, and the town is just multiplying as the years go by. And so the value for land has actually shot up. And so the need to get, or the competition for the land has also become very real, and much more concern to all the ethnic groups, especially those that are closer to the township. So that's it. The urbanization of the Nkwanta Township and its expansion across where it was traditionally located into other areas, or areas that spans beyond the traditionally known boundaries of each of the. That is what is behind most of these disputes, I think, in my opinion.
Okay, so you basically, you probably there are other factors, but maybe urbanization for you would be one of the major reasons that is leading to this conflict. I think if I get you right. So now, do we still have you, Mr. Philp? Hello, Mr. Philp, can you hear us? Hello, Mr. Philp, can you hear us? Okay, it appears we have run into a bit of difficulty with our line to Mr. Philp, who was giving us some background about the the area that we are talking about, the economic activity that go on, and the dependence of these people on the, as I said initially, on the resource, human resource, on the natural resource that exists, and in this case, land. And as is normal of all places in recent times, urbanization seemed to be one of the primary factors that is bringing about challenges or conflict in between people in this area. Well, every community likes to develop and to urbanize, but urbanization comes with its consequences as well. And if communities develop much more rapidly than initially expected, some of the effects that the rapid onset of urbanization can lead to challenges, including conflict. And so this for Mr. Thorpe was one of the things that probably is breeding conflict. Kuntinana, one of our regular viewers of the show, says I should please ask him what is the cause of the current war and what is the situation of the war, watching from Warsaw, Poland. Yes, when we have him back, we'll ask him what is the current state of the fight. I shudder to call it war. I don't think we've gotten there yet. Or say superior, you see, war is the last thing I don't want to hear. They should come together to promote peace, watching from Barcelona, Spain. Yes, war is a kind of conflict, but it's much more blown up than that. I don't think they are at a stage of war yet. Nyaku Joshua says, peace, peace, peace is all we want in Nkwanta. Indeed, let me add my own voice to that. Peace is what we want, not only in Nkwanta, but also in Ghana, in West Africa, in Africa, and all over the world, because peace is essential to our very existence. So just before we lost our guest, we wanted after telling us about the situation of the urbanization in the area and how this is playing a role in conflict. We wanted to know. I would have wanted to know how urbanization seemed to be having an impact on the environment and what the concerns thereof are in that regard. I think we have another message from one of our listeners. Joe Kelly Jr., you say very sensitive element of journalism from you, Albert Allen, and your guest Philip, legal practitioner. Confidently, his submissions are the bold, factual, and timely. Salute to you and the lawyer. We preach for eternal peace. Thank you so much, Mr. Allen. Thank you very much, Joe. And of course, this is quite a sensitive topic, and we are trying to handle it with the sensitivity that it requires. Kweku Philip Lawson, you say good evening. It's a worry when business owners are now releasing workers from post because nothing is going on again, so they have to cut cost. Watching from UAE. Yes, actually, these are some of the consequences, because when businesses cannot operate, people would have to be laid off. And that's only a natural consequence of conflict. And so that is why we keep praying that that the situation would be resolved so that people can go about their, regular activities. Mr. Phil, welcome back.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Apologize once.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry at all. So, before you left us, you were talking about the rapid urbanization in the area and how this is contributing to the conflict. Do you think that this rapid rate of urbanization is leading to some environmental impact in the area that some segments of the society, be they the Adali or the Achode, they are concerned about, which probably is bringing this conflict?
Oh, not so much that I know of environmental issues, in the sense of which I understand your question, not any of which I'm aware. It's primarily ownership of the land, who should own which part of the land, and who should be recognized as or who should have a control over the township. Primarily, that's what it is. but not environmental issues and the impact of the activities per se. But as a result of the expansion of the township and it's gaining prominence, the competition for the ownership of the lands has increased. So far, this is how far my knowledge goes.
Yeah. Previously, I tried to find out about whether there were historical agreements between these factions as far as land is concerned, and I think you said from your research we have not been able to unravel such things. But what's the legal framework or arrangement, if any, that exists as far as land ownership in the Nkwanta area is concerned?
So our part of the country mimics the system of the Akan. So we have stools. We don't have skins in our part of the Oti region. We have skins, and so these skins have
Okay, I think yeah, continue. You're talking about there's tools and
Exactly. So the stools have the allodial interest in the lands, and then the subjects of the stool, considering the portion of land that either you or your ancestor has been able to reduce into occupation, you have a usufructory interest in it. That is, you cultivate it, and then the stool cannot divest you of your ownership of that land, and so you are able to own and even sell it without recourse to the stool. But then there are also some portions of the town that are for the stool, especially those towns that are closer to the community, the township, the Nkwanta township, and even the villages around. For those lands in the villages and then the township and the lands around the communities, those are usually reserved for the stool. So if you need any portion of land for building or for any other purpose, you need to contact the stool. But where it has to do with an individual, a subject of a particular stool, then you have to go see that particular individual. So legally, that is how the lands are structured.
Okay, so considering the fact that most of the land is under the custody of the stool, of the stools in the area, are there opportunities for mediation, in this architecture of land ownership?
In order to bring about a change in the architecture of the ownership or mediation as far as the dispute is concerned. May I get you clear?
No, as far as the dispute is concerned.
Yes. There are very great opportunities, and in fact, a lot of attempts have started. There are meetings, there are consultations. In fact, the parties have started coming together with the help of some mediators. I know of one that has been started by the Ghana Police Service. There is another that has been started by some concerned citizens of the area through the assistance of some religious leaders like the Catholic bishop in the area of the Jazikan diocese, and then some Catholic priests, and then some other religious and then chief religious leaders of other denominations, and then some paramount chiefs and chiefs who are not parties to this particular dispute. So there are about 2 or 3 ongoing mediation processes that are occurring concurrently alongside. Yes, so it has started already.
So most of these, most of the people we are talking about, you mentioned, appear to me as people who are probably maybe some kind of stakeholders from somewhere who are trying to. But are there opportunity? What can be done to get, the involvement of the community itself, the community members themselves in this, peace process?
Yes. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Good. I get it. So yes, although the it appears as if most of the people leading the process are persons coming from without the groups that are engaged in the dispute. I should add, it is interesting to know that you also have some respectable and then well-meaning members of these various groups that are also members of the mediation teams. And so I think to that extent, even from within, we have participants. And they are doing so with the consent of and concurrence of the leadership of each of the groups. So there is I can say that at this stage, there is a new attempt for them to have a mediation and see a peaceful and a quick resolution or a quick fix to this issue.
Okay. Maybe we should have done this at the beginning of the program. But so far, can you tell us what the situation or what the picture is right now?
So the picture is this. For example, you see, let's take Accra, for example. You see the location of the Accra township from Tetekwashi runabout towards Greater Accra. That has to do with the Adele side of the land. Then when you come to Tema, where Tema is located, that has to do with the Chalas. And then you go after Tema, you have like Shy Hills thereabout. That's where my mother's people, the Achodes, are. What I'm trying to say is that between my mother's people, the Achodes, and my father's people, the Adeles, and where the Nkwanta township is located, there is a town that is called Odomi. And these Odomi people are a different ethnic group together from the Achodes, and they own a stretch of the land towards the Nkwanta township. And so now the Adeles, some time ago, I think some 40, 50 years ago, had a dispute with the Odomi people, which are the Chalas, over the land, and the Adeles took the matter to the native court at Krashiden. Now, the Achodes were present at court, not as parties, but as witnesses for the Odomi people. And the documents are still in the possession of the Chalas, and some of us have it, to the effect that that portion of land that was litigated upon between a community of the Adeles and the Chalas, which is called Dediase and Chala, that portion of land belongs to the Chalas. And so that was the ruling of the court. And so now the Adeles position is that being the case, they admit that now they share boundaries with the Chalas. They, the Adeles, share a boundary with the Chalas as far as the owner, the township or the portion stretching to the township is concerned. So they are not ready, or they don't understand why the Achodes now want to go beyond the Chalas and lay claim or ownership to the lands that are within the Nkwanta township. So that is exactly what it is.
Okay,
that's exactly what it is. So,
and so my understanding is that this has been a conflict that has existed for some time.
In fact, while I was in the KG, my father is a linguist. Several days and nights I wouldn't see my father, and they tell me that they have summoned my mother's people, the Achodes, at a fetish priest far away in Pando, or the Achodes rather has summoned them. While I was in KG, I'm talking about 89, 89, 90s.
Yes,
Now
you are a full-grown man, and that conflict still
I'm
exists.
telling you, and now it's getting worse. But the sad thing is that even then, when they didn't have the kind of education we had, they went to court. They always summon each other before other paramount chiefs go far as even to ethnic groups that are far away from our place. They go and then settle it and then come back home. It's surprising that this time around, violence is being introduced into the conflict in this degree. It's so sad. So it has existed.
When you talk about violence, the recent occurrence, when did it start?
Sure. So the recent occurrence started, I think, that's some 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think. Second. Yeah, the 20th of last month. Okay, that was when at midday, some unknown assailants or men entered into the market and started shooting indiscriminately. That saw the death of 2 Adele men. But before that shooting, it all started with a festival of which is celebrated by my mother's people, that's the Achodes. So if you talk to anybody whose knowledge about this conflict is superficial, he tells you that it is about festival. It is about festival. I tell you today emphatically from where I sit, as a lawyer and as somebody who belongs to both groups And I understand the dispute that it has nothing to do with festival. It's all about ownership of lands. So my mother's people, the Achodes have celebrated festival in each of their respective townships or towns. After that, they want to grant it all with a mega one. And the venue that they have fixed for the celebration of that one occurs at a place that is in possession, currently in possession in the possession of the Adela people. They have the physical control and possession of that area. So my father's people, the Adeles, are saying that in Ghana, everybody celebrates festival, but everybody celebrates their festivals at their home. So you can have yours. All the festivals that you have had in your communities, we never resisted. But if you want to come and celebrate it at a place that occurs within our jurisdiction, a place that we have physical possession and control over, then we are going to resist. This is their argument.
So if I understand you, it is there is a conflict over land, but currently it's manifesting itself as a conflict over festival. In this conflict, you talked about the killing of 2 people.
Sure.
So 2 people so far have lost their lives, right?
Oh no! That was what happened that afternoon. I mean the precursor event. After that, several. In fact, the reports have it that some are putting it at 8, some are putting it at 11. But when you get onto the ground and the indigenous speak to my brother, we are running into 20s and 30s.
Proof.
Yes, that's the reality. We are running into 20s and 30s. Yes.
And are there distractions to other property as well?
Yes, in fact, there have been burning of shops, burning of houses, cars, and a lot of properties have gone down. Trust me.
But as of this evening, have there been some semblance of calm in the area?
For the past 2 weeks, when the Minister for Interior imposed curfew on the people, relatively they have been calm as far as the Nkwanta township itself is concerned. However, within the outskirts of the town, the villages are carrying the town, especially between the Chalas and the Achodes. Day in, day out, we hear shootings, and that's some resulting into the deaths of people. I think about 2 weeks ago, we lost 3 people. And then even yesterday, there were shootings again. And I'm told that 1 person is dead and 2 are seriously injured. So you don't have the violence occurring within the township itself. But then when you go to your farm to pick yam or to pick some produce to come and feed your family because of the curfew, then you hear that it's been gunned down. So now they've taken it from the town and they are at the bushes, the path and the path that leads, the footpath that leads to the various farms. They go and lay ambush and they kill people on the way.
With the current state of affairs in the area, and fortunately we have you and you belong to both sides. Sure. Do you think that there is a future where both tribes coexist and fit into each other in the same area?
Exactly, there is. There are very great prospects for settlement of disputes and for amicable or harmonious living amongst the various ethnic groups. There is.
Yeah, we have shot way beyond our allocated time because of our initial challenges. But just before we let you go, finally, would you say that there are common goals and aspirations that both tribes share for the development and prosperity of the area?
Yes.
What if you were to probably get into the minds of of the people of the area, what would you say would be maybe their shared aspiration for the area?
Yes, we travel so many distance to have our education. Me, for instance, I have to travel up to the south, down Winneba, to have my university education. We don't have any university close by, so both tribes, Adeles, Chalas, and Achodes, we all yearn that now that we have our region, we have a university that is closer to us, so that our children will not have to go that far to be able to get their university education and other tertiary institutions. And so this dream, we all share it together. And so, yes, there are a lot of, this is one of them. And even currently, now, where we find ourselves, if you speak to every ordinary person hailing from the area, or I wouldn't say ordinary person, every average person, on the average, you have 9 out of 10, everybody wants this conflict to subside. So now it is the immediate aspiration of all. We all wish to see this conflict come to an end, so that the shared dreams that we have can be materialized as soon as possible.
With this immediate aspiration that you just talked about, what would be your message, your final message to the indigenous?
My final message is this. The first one will go to the indigenes, and then the second one to the external actors, like the police, the courts, and the government at large. So to the indigenes, or to the people, what I want to tell them is that we are one. Our ancestors, our fathers, who didn't have the kind of education that we had, took their dispute to peaceful fora for settlement. They were in court as far back as in 1948. They went before other chiefs and they had their disputes settled. There was no point in time that over land, one person even slapped the other. And so how much more to this in our case, or in our instance, where we have university educations, all forms of educations, and then that we have to get to this far, or use these means, which we know very well that cannot lead us to anywhere. At the end of it all, we will still have to come and sit on a round table, something we could have done earlier on to avoid or to avert the needless death. So I am urging all my people, whether Adele, Achode, or Chala, to remain calm. But I think that the approach should be top down, not bottom up. It should be top down. Our men that are there in Accra, those big men, they give the words. They speak to their people. We have a case. We're not going to give up. We are behind you. Please let us all stop it from whichever. It doesn't matter how good you think your case is. If your case is beautiful, put it together, take it to your lawyer. The dispute is already before the High Court. And so put your case together, present it to your lawyer. He will make it in court. The outcome will come. Nobody will lose his life. That is my message for we, the settlers, or we, the people that are from the Nkwanta Township. And especially the women, their utterances. Our women, our ladies, their utterances are so bad. So let all the men talk to their wives. Let them understand that they are the major victims when some of these things rise up. So they should be measured and guard their utterances so that we see resolution to this matter as soon as possible. Then externally, that is to the government and to the courts and other institutions. Please, I wish that, and this is a suggestion that I've been making long from the beginning of this, that as a lawyer, I know this is not the appropriate means, but I will at the appropriate time, that we send a cry to the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, so that her ladyship would instruct our court at one point before which this dispute is pending to listen to this matter with speed, to deal with this matter with the alacrity that it deserves. Even if we can have 2 hearings per week, I am sure that within 2-3 months, judgment would come. When judgment comes, then the security agencies can then enforce it, because it is now law. It's become the judgment of a superior. It's become the judgment of a superior court. So we can call the security agencies to now enforce it. But as it stands now, the claims are just bare claims, not proven. So let us quickly resolve this matter over there, and then let the courts give us a speedy hearing of this matter. And then when the judgment comes, we know that it's law, and the state can enforce its own laws. That is for the state. That's for the state. And finally, for my people again, you know, as far as our boundaries are concerned, there are boundaries that I describe as actual boundaries and then disputed boundaries. Notwithstanding this conflict, notwithstanding this fight, if you get to Nkwanta Township today and you stand at a point and you say, who owns this portion of land? Even a KG child will tell you that if you need land here, go and see the Adeles. If you turn to the other side, who owns this portion of land? They will tell you, go and see the Chalas or go and see the Achodes. So on the ground, physically, the Adeles know where they sell lands. The Chalas know where they sell lands or where they control and they are in possession of. The Achodes also know where they sell their lands and they are in control of. The difficulty is that these parties are not willing to restrain themselves within these actual boundaries. So they make claims from history. Our ancestors told us that they own land up to that extent. But physically, you are not in possession, you are not in control. So if, as it stands now, what I want to plead with all of our people is, let us forget about the disputed boundaries. The court will fix that and restrain or restrict ourselves to the actual boundaries. Where you know that I do not control, I have never sold a portion of land. You get to a portion of the township in Nkwanta, not a single Achode man or Achode person has a land there without it being a grant from the Adeles. Similarly, when you go to the other section of the land, if you find any Adele person there, the only way he got it is by seeing the Achode chiefs. And when there is a portion of the town where you get there, the only way any person can get the land there is by seeing the Chalas. So we know exactly where. But then the difficulty is admitting this as our boundaries. We resort to history, unwritten history, oral history that tells us we own land to this extent, we own land to that extent, yet you don't see any physical act of possessions of those people, which shows that traditionally they were in control here or they were in control there. And even if it exists, like I said, the courts are the best to get possession of these, put all this together, present it to your lawyer. If your lawyer is able to make a convincing case at the court, your boundary will be fixed. But as it stands now, let us restrain ourselves to the actual boundaries, what I describe as the actual boundaries, and let the disputed boundaries be fixed or settled by the court. This is my message.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fu, for joining us and for your contribution. Before we let you go, one of our viewers, Nyame Yawboy, he said he's the popular tea seller at the lorry station. Yeah, do you know him?
Yes, this afternoon his matter came to mind. Because I was like, how about people whose business depends on the night, especially that man? He's an uncle. He's my uncle. His business always starts from 7 p.m. and above. So how is he making a living?
Mr. Boy, there is your answer.
Sure.
So thank you very much, Mr. Fu, for joining us and for the education that you have given us. We are grateful that you have handled this matter with the sensitivity that it deserves.
It's my pleasure.
No soul, no fly
needs to die again.
Needs to lose their life for whatever reason. There are bigger things in life than that. And like I said during the show, our bigger enemy is poverty. Our bigger enemy is not ourselves. Let us pull together. Let us come together in unison, and let us call for the development of our area. Ghana, Ahimfie, you say you're watching us from Bususu in the Fantiakwa South District. Nkwanta is one of the poorest towns in Ghana, but they have time to kill each other. Well, they don't have time to. I'm not sure their mission is to kill each other. Sometimes tempers get out of hand and people do things. But we call on them to restrain themselves. Mr. Boy, you see a great presentation from lawyer and Mr. Host. Let my people take this opportunity to draw the attention of the government to the deplorable state of Nkwanta roads right up to Kene, KJB, and Dambai. Exactly, and that's the point I was making, that our bigger enemy is underdevelopment and poverty, and not ourselves. Joe Kelly Jr., you say, we plead with the chiefs and youth to liaise with the security apparatus designated into the enclave to achieve the sole objective, that's peace for all people of Nkwanta. We are one despite the artificial boundaries, and let us continue to encourage mutual understanding between ourselves. Thanks so much, Mr. Alan. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe, for your contribution. Tumifa Kwame Barnabas, you say Nkwanta is not the poorest town in Ghana. In fact, from TV3 Web, Nkwanta was the second fastest growing community in Ghana after Kaswa. Well, the issue is not whether it is the poorest or it is the fastest growing. The issue is that if we want to go further, if we want more peace, if we want more development, let's have peace. Prince Odru, you say, well said, bro. I like last submission. Everybody knows his or her boundary. Well, on that note, we know our boundary, which is our time boundary, which we have overshot. But we are grateful to Mr. Philip for taking the time to join us despite the poor conditions. He has stayed true to us, and he has been able to stay with us to give us the much needed that we need, and we thank him very much. And we also thank all our viewers and listeners in Sakina Information Center in Tatali in Northern Ghana, in High FM, in Himai, in the King's Radio in Accra, and all our viewers on all social media networks. Until we see you again next week, have a good time, stay blessed, see you next time. Bye.
Mampam also untie so dogo binwa bem mampam also untie nani amuka nyina guna swati move swara mampam also untie move swara mampam also untie. Once upon a time